All right, welcome to Sunny Approach. Today we are in our Airstream's kitchen, the galley, and we're going to cook fried rice. I'm turning on, so our Airstream has the E1 package, which means we don't have a gas cooktop. It's induction, which also means we use this kind of a steel pan. So while the pan heats up, I'm going to take a nice knob of butter. The first step in this is going to be to fry egg. So put this butter in the refrigerator so it doesn't melt. I'm a real big fan of these Joy egg turners. Our eggs come from our own chickens on our farm. Always encourage you to shop by Farm Fresh where you can. Make this into a little omelette-like. As you can probably tell, our camper isn't level. We're not actually camping. We're in our driveway making this. One of the things that we try to do is prepare ahead for when we're camping. So we have peppers that previously chopped up and vegetables. And the rice itself has been previously cooked and frozen too. And I've got some beef here that is frozen, but if it's thinly sliced, it'll chop pretty decently still.
Smells good.
So that will work for some protein. Just flip around a little bit. I find that 8 is a really good number for medium-high. 10 does get very, very hot in this steel pan. I'm just going to chop up the egg in the pan and then we'll reserve this to add back later. Doesn't matter if you still have a little bit left in the pan, just keep as much of it out as possible. Alright, I like to use sesame oil for making fried rice. It has a pretty decent smoke point, but I am going to turn the temperature down to 6 now. And we're going to put both lots of vegetables. Saute these until mostly cooked. And turn it back up again to 8. Always want to keep the food moving in the pan so that it doesn't cook unevenly. Alright, while that's cooking, let me pull out the rice and explain a little bit. So, to make good fried rice, you need really cold rice. And one of the things you can do is cook it ahead of time and put it in the refrigerator. For camping, we also choose to freeze it, so we lay it out on a baking sheet and then crumble it up into little pieces and then stay in a Ziploc bag until we're ready to cook with it. We're also going to be using these soy-free sauces because we prefer to avoid soy, so we don't have any unwanted reactions, but you can use whatever soy sauce or alternative you like, but you will need soy sauce and at least one other seasoning. Alright, now they're somewhat softened. I'm turning the temperature all the way up to 10.
It's actually starting to smell good.
Now some people like to throw it all in the pan in one go, and I find that doesn't give us crispy rice, eggs or meat, and I also like to cook the meat separately with a flavoured sauce and then add the soy sauce in at the end. So everybody has a slightly different preference, but when you're the chef you get to call the shots and do it the way you like to do it. What we're looking for these is to just get slightly
So you can have
tender.
these defrosted to begin with if you want, right?
Absolutely. Of course, if they're defrosted, they will cook quicker. But then if you don't know you're going to have fried rice that night, you'd end up with a whole bunch of defrosted vegetables that you might then have to use the next night.
Or if your freezer goes out for some unknown reason.
Oh, we've never had something like that happen, have we?
Nope, not at all. No
One of the
no ice cream pudding.
One of the important things, of course, on these Airstreams is to make sure that you put the little lock over as a way of making sure that you have properly closed up your freezer.
Now they're starting to smell hot.
I always find that the carrots are the toughest vegetables to get cooked properly when doing a stir fry.
And we're making for 2 of us, and there's no calorie count or anything else. We're camping and enjoying life, correct?
That's absolutely right. But we do make sure that these are portioned for 2 people because there's just 2 of us.
But not 2 people on a specific calorie counting diet.
No. You probably would not want to use that butter that I used at the beginning if you were trying to be a little more careful with fat intake. Alright, that looks like it is about good. Go ahead, you can try a piece if you want.
Oh, they're hot. Too hot.
It should be about 2/3 cooked at this point, because I'm going to finish cooking when we add them back in. Now you're probably thinking, why doesn't he just pick the pan up? Because it's hot. Why don't I have pot holders? Because I've got to put them in here.
You don't even have your favorite spatula in here.
I don't. One of the good things is it doesn't matter if you make a mess because it's pretty easy to clean up afterwards. Alright, so now we're going to add the beef. And we're going to use some of this stir fry sauce with it. And I'm turning the heat down to 4 now.
I turned on the fan.
We have found that it's pretty good if you have a back window open and turn on the roof vent to move heat out of here. I'm just trying to lightly cook the beef here. You can see it's very thinly sliced.
How much beef did you use?
There's 4 ounces of beef. I had 4 ounces of peppers, 4 ounces of vegetables.
So double the amount of vegetables to the amount of meat.
Yes. And I've got 7 ounces of rice approximately.
Well, your rice and your vegetables should be the same amount with your meat.
Yeah,
Half.
about half of that. Alright, that looks to be about right. So I'm just going to pull this over to one side of the pan. I'm going to turn the heat all the way up to 10 now. And I'm going to transfer that meat to the pan with the egg. Add just a little bit more of the sesame oil. And now we're going to fry the rice. And it all in one go. You want to keep it moving, you want it to get crispy as it's defrosting and cooking at the same time.
Now it can be defrosted too, right? As long as it's
Yeah,
cold.
but you want to keep it very cold for this part, otherwise all you end up with is sticky rice and not fried rice.
Looks like it's sticking to the pan. Do you need more oil, or is that just part and parcel?
That's part and parcel of it, but I'll add a little bit more oil in. Probably turn the heat down to 8 now. I'm looking for is a nice color on this. Some of it's obviously coming from the leftover seasoning that I used with the roast beef, and some of it's coming from the oil caramelizing.
So how much prep time did you have in this?
Probably about, to make all of the rice for 6 meals and the peppers for about 20 meals and the beef for 5 or 6 meals, maybe an hour, because I did all the things roughly at the same time.
Because I can't cook. This would be either still frozen or it'd be so overcooked you couldn't eat it.
Alright, so at this point we're going to add the vegetables back in. soy-free soy sauce. If you drizzle it around the edge of the pan, rather than dumping it in the middle, it will sink in and go right where you need it. Some people might be bothered by the bit sticking on the bottom of the pan, but not me. Also not bothered about making a mess because I'll clean it up later. Alright, we'll add
the last of the ingredients, right?
Yep, season the eggs. At this point you might choose to add more sauce or peppers or things that season it exactly to your taste profile.
Just so you know, if it goes out at this point, our camera's yelling at us it doesn't have much battery power left.
Yeah, well, we are basically done. All that's left is for me to do a taste test to make sure.
And so that's beginning to end, and it's 17 minutes.
And it's good to eat.
Good.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this cooking in our Airstream with Sunny approach. And if you look, at some point we'll figure out how to get the recipe into the comments. And if you have any questions, if you want to like, give a thumbs up. If you can follow our channel, you'll get notified if there are more cooking videos or other things that you like. Bye-bye.